Hello, my name is Diane Siebra, and today's video is going to talk about recurrent vaginal candidiasis. But it's not just for women, right? You may be thinking, but what do you mean it's not just for women? If it's vaginal, men can also get candidiasis, right? So this video was even requested by one of our male followers who was, I won't say his name, of course, okay, my friend, but it was for you, the man who cares about his health and the health of women, because it can pass from man to woman too. Not that it's a sexually transmitted disease by any means, but both men and women need to understand how to cure recurrent candidiasis. So if you want to understand this, if you suffer from it, start by subscribing to our channel and giving us a like, which is very important to us because YouTube understands that you want to see our videos. So today we're going to talk about something serious. At least once in their lives, all or almost all women will have or have had candidiasis. And what is candidiasis? Candidiasis is an infection by a fungus called Candida, right? It can happen in the vagina, right? And today we're going to talk mainly about vaginal candidiasis. So it causes a lot of discomfort. Imagine you, a woman, with a lump of white secretion coming out of your vagina. So it's unpleasant. Your partner won't like it. Your partner, you name it. Apart from the itching it causes, you're in places, you're an executive woman, a businesswoman, you're in a meeting, and the itching, because a man can scratch himself, but a woman wanting to scratch herself because of a vaginal infection doesn't go down well, does it? But what's the problem? The problem is that women often have vaginal discharge, go to the doctor, and what happens? They get tested. The doctor sees that they have white discharge and gives them an antifungal, and that's it. How many times have you gone to the doctor and been told, in order for you not to get candidiasis anymore, you always need to change your diet. And if you avoid these foods and try to eat them, then you'll be cured of candidiasis. But it doesn't happen. So our medicine treats it like this. We're going to give you and your husband antifungals. That's it. It's over. But nobody treats the cause of candidiasis. And don't think that the cause of candidiasis is the fungus. Not at all. The fungus, it's there in your intestine and mine always. The cause is something else. It's some special condition or a bad condition that makes that fungus from the intestine enter the circulation and go to other organs, such as the urinary system and the vagina itself, in the case of most women. It's no use just talking about N-istatin, an antifungal for candidiasis. I know that many gynecologists are going to see this video here and say, man, that's great. I'm going to start using this in my consultations, and others are going to say it's nonsense, but I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about you. What did we say about candidiasis not being a sexually transmitted disease? Because you can get candidiasis without being a dirty person, without being a person who doesn't take care of themselves. You can get candidiasis without even having sex, because candidiasis usually comes from your gut. It doesn't usually come from someone else. And on the contrary, if you're immunologically well, if you're well, your partner may even have candidiasis and not pass it on to you. So candidiasis isn't always a sign of dirt. Okay, so it's very important for you women, especially when it comes to treatment, to always wear new clean panties, to always sleep at night without panties, okay? Sleeping at night without panties aerates your vaginal organ. You can even, in some cases, dry out your vagina more with a hairdryer. Be careful, for heaven's sake, not to burn your vagina, for heaven's sake. But the less moist it is, the better it will be for fighting candidiasis. I like damp, wet things. And what can we do? In addition to medication, which I'm not saying you shouldn't take medication for candidiasis, what can we do in terms of diet to put an end to candidiasis once and for all? You see, candidiasis can be cured once and for all with food. So candida, it's a normal resident of our intestines, along with other bacteria, good bacteria, bad bacteria. It all lives there in the intestines. When it's in small quantities in both men and women, nothing happens. But when the candida population grows too much, then it invades our circulation. And then it goes to where we've already talked about, the blood, the urinary system, and the vagina. So the increase in candidiasis in the intestine is a reflection that something isn't right in your body. Again, there's no point in rubbing a cream on your vagina and not treating your intestines. If you have candidiasis now and you're applying medicine to your vagina and you're not treating your intestines, forget it. The candidiasis will come back, especially in diabetic people. Why is that? Because the vagina becomes sweet. Sweet because the blood is sweet and fungus loves sweet. In the same way, diabetics have to treat their diabetes so that their blood stops getting sweet and they no longer get candidiasis. So the treatment of candidiasis is systemic, i.e., You have to look at the body as a whole. If you treat it properly for at least 3 months, you'll be cured. Can it come back? Yes, but if you're returning to your previous conditions, candidiasis can even come from an emotional cause. Too much stress that lowers immunity can cause the intestinal candidiasis population to reach your sexual organs. Women who take contraceptives have more candidiasis. Why is this? Because the estrogens, so contraceptives that have estrogens, or rather estrogen analogs, which normally don't have a natural hormone in them, make this candida flora thrive or proliferate better. So immunity drops, candidiasis proliferates. The use of antibiotics, people who take antibiotics and overdo it, then it kills everything in the intestine. And when it kills everything, the candidiasis says, well, now it's my turn to grow. You've used antibiotics. You have to take an intestinal flora replenisher. You who are a doctor and are assisting me, you who work in the ICU, you've given antibiotics to people. You have to replenish the flora. Otherwise, candidiasis will come. And replenish the flora with what? With probiotics, which are good bacteria in the intestine. Otherwise, you'll make room for candidiasis to appear. Another thing that makes it much worse is having a diet rich in white flour, refined foods such as pasta, bread, cake, cookies. All these foods are wonderful for the fungus and bad bacteria too. 90% of our health is determined by the health and quality of our intestines. Another person who has a very high risk of candidiasis is people with a trapped intestine. That's the problem with women having a lot of candidiasis, because women have a higher rate of trapped intestines. So a trapped intestine also hinders the quality of the intestinal flora, and candidiasis also appears. Just to remind you, you need to make your blood less sweet and less acidic. That's why it's important to alkalize your blood. With what? Water with lemon. At the end, click on these videos that will appear here. And agua com limão is one of them for you to watch after this one. You have to avoid some of the foods I'm going to tell you about now. If you have candidiasis, you have to cut out these foods immediately. Sugar, brigadeiro, cake, candy, chocolate, honey, molasses, anything sweet. Mushrooms, fermented foods such as wine, vinegar, sake, nothing moldy, those fancy moldy cheeses, no, not at all, alcohol and coffee. And also foods that are difficult to digest, such as dairy products and gluten. Gluten means croissants, bread, cakes, cookies, everything that's tasty. So what are my allies for not getting candidiasis? Everything that improves immunity, write it down. First thing, a tea for candidiasis, write it down, tea for candidiasis. You put cat's claw and cat's claw together, and the two are born together, 2 tablespoons, and put it in a liter of boiled water. Mix, leave to infuse. You already know how tea is made. Leave it to infuse for 5 minutes, then strain it. Add a couple of drops of propolis. Propolis is excellent for improve immunity. And you can also watch his video on propolis and bee honey at the end, and you drink it during the day. You can't reheat this tea, and you have to drink it within 24 hours. It's also not good to sweeten the tea, otherwise it will help the candidiasis. If you're going to prepare just 1 cup of 250, for example, ml, you add a teaspoon of cat's claw and a teaspoon of echinacea. You can also add a teaspoon of green tea. Then you'll boost everything, because green tea improves the intestines. What's more, it makes you lose weight because it improves your metabolism. Second food, raw crushed garlic. And you can see this in our video on garlic. You can use it in salads, for example, in food. Because many people don't like raw crushed garlic. Thirdly, linseed. Flaxseed acts mainly as an anti-inflammatory and as an intestinal cleanser. Anti-inflammatory mainly because of the omega-3 in flaxseed. So you'll be able to extract this omega-3 in the best way if you soak the linseed in the fridge all night, and it will turn into a goo that you can put in your detox juice. The fourth food is spring onions. That's right, everything green is detox. And if you have low immunity, you need a powerful detox system, because you're going to kill the candidiasis. When you kill it, you'll have toxins in your body, okay? So you need to cleanse these toxins with everything green, like spring onions, broccoli, alcaxofra, cauliflower, spirulina, and chlorella too. Fifth food, coconut oil. Extra virgin coconut oil. Use it in juice, or use it raw, or use it in capsule form, whichever you prefer. Coconut oil contains lauric acid, the same thing that's in breast milk, which boosts any baby's immunity. And lauric acid, when it enters the stomach, turns into monolaurin, which is a powerful antifungal, as well as caprylic acid, which kills fungus. You can also add lemon zest, lemon peel, or orange zest to your teas. and green banana flour, green banana biomass. If you do all of this and you still have candidiasis, you probably need to have it tested to find out if it really is candida. If you have any of these symptoms or use any of these products, write down, comment, share. Comment, share this video with everyone you know. Live healthy, live with passion. A hug from the heart.